Let me ask you a question. What is your concept of God? Because the way you see God determines how you see yourself. And the way you see yourself determines how you live life. If you believe God is far away, sitting on a distant throne, deciding your fate, you will live your life as a beggar before that throne. But if you know that God is the life within you, the creative intelligence breathing through your thoughts and emotions, you will rise and live as a co-creator, not a victim. As Neville Goddard said, your concept of God is your concept of yourself. Today, let us look at the living connection between your concept of God, your self-concept, your perception, the way you say your prayers, and your approach to life. First, your concept of God. Your concept of God is the highest idea you hold about reality itself. Is God a judge? Or is God life? Is God distant? Or is God within? The way you answer that question determines your destiny. When you see God as presence, as consciousness living through you, you stop running after miracles and begin living as one. You begin living as miracle. Your life becomes miraculous. You don't run from Abuja, say you're going to Lagos, going to one crusade, or you're going to Enugu, or you're going to Imo State to attend one crusade so that you get miracle. No. So as we move around like that, it shows our concept of God, how we look at God. We look at God as somebody who is very far away from us and who is only known by one person that calls himself a prophet or calls himself a pastor or calls himself a bishop or anything. When you change your idea of God from a deity outside you to a presence inside you, everything in your world begins to respond differently. Number two, your concept of yourself, your self-concept. Your self-concept is the image you carry about who you are. There is the way you look at yourself, the person you think you are. That's your self-concept. Most people pray for blessings while secretly believing they are unworthy of them. And that inner contradiction blocks their manifestations, blocks them achieving anything they want to achieve. If you see yourself as weak or unworthy, that becomes your living reality. You may be struggling, but deep down you see yourself as weak and unworthy. But when you accept that you are made in the image and likeness of God, your thinking changes, your emotions lift, and your actions begin to reflect divine power. So a limited self can never express an unlimited God. You can never say you're a weak person and then you express things that show strength. No. Renew your self-image, not in pride, but in awareness, in knowing who you are. In knowing, first, knowing who your God is. You are not dust trying to reach heaven. You are heaven expressing as dust. When you hear people say, oh, heaven at last, you're struggling, you want to get to heaven, get them to know that heaven is here. The third one, perception. Perception is the lens through which you interpret life. Your perception is how you see life. The glasses through which you see life. Two people can face the same event. One sees punishment. The other one sees purpose. One sees loss. The other one sees transformation. No, definitely they will have different strength to face it. Why? Because perception mirrors inner belief. Your perception is your inner belief, mirrors your inner belief. When you know that life is not happening to you, but through you or as you stop complaining and start interpreting experiences as divine feedback. The world becomes a mirror, showing you what you truly believe about God and yourself. The mystic understands that every situation is a conversation between his consciousness and the infinite mind. Number 4, prayer. Prayer is not begging, it is alignment. True prayer is not asking God to change circumstances. It is changing your state of consciousness till it harmonizes with the reality you desire. When you understand that God is within you, prayer becomes communion with your higher self, not shouting, but knowing. Jesus said, when you pray, believe that you have received, and it shall be yours. That means prayer is not hope, it is assumption. You feel the wish fulfilled until it becomes reality in the unseen. Prayer is not persuading God to act, it is awakening the God nature already acting in you. Your approach to life. Your approach to life naturally flows from your concept of God. If you believe God is love and that you are the expression of that love, you will live courageously, compassionately, and creatively. If you believe you are a victim of fate, you will live reactively, waiting, doubting, and fearing, and having a lot of enemies because you see everybody around you as the cause of your victimhood. You live a very difficult life. But when you know that thoughts, emotion, and imagination are divine tools, you begin to shape reality consciously. When you know that thoughts, your emotion, your imagination is given to you as tools. They are tools, divine tools, which to shape your reality. Your life becomes different. To live with spiritual maturity is to walk as a divine ambassador, knowing that every word, every thought, every emotion is a creative act. You become less reactive and more intentional, less fearful and more faithful. My people, let us bring it all together. Your concept of God shapes your self-concept. Know that. Your concept of God shapes your self-concept. When I believed in dialectical materialism, it affected the way my self-concept, the way I looked at myself and the way I address issues. But today, it's different. Your self-concept shapes your perception. Your concept of God shapes your self-concept. Your self-concept shapes your perception. How you look at life is different. That is why you see people look at the same thing differently. Your perception shapes how you even pray, and your prayer shapes your approach to life. When you refine your idea of God from distant power to indwelling presence, you move from fear to faith, from reaction to creation, from worshiping life to co-creating it. When your mind aligns with the divine within, heaven itself responds through your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Walk as one who knows. You are not separate from God. You are the place where God becomes visible. I am His Royal Highness Eze from Assistant Mecca Ubunna. In the tree of Ami, may your chi awaken, and may your concept of God lift you into the life you were created to express. Thank you.